There's this really wild, paradoxical idea out there that the absolute fastest way to get everything you want in life is to stop needing it. Now, I know that sounds completely backwards, right? But it's actually one of the most fundamental principles for how our reality really works. So today, let's dive into the law of detachment. I mean, think about it. We've all been there. That one job, that relationship, that goal you are just desperate to achieve. Why is it that the harder you chase it, the more it seems to just slip right through your fingers? It's like it's running away from you. Well, I promise you, this isn't just a string of bad luck. It's a dynamic, and we're gonna unpack it.
Okay, so the perfect way to picture this whole problem is with a Chinese finger trap. You know the one. Your instinct, my instinct, everyone's instinct is to what? Panic. We grip harder, we pull away with all our might. But what happens? Of course, the trap just gets tighter. The only way out, the only solution, is to do the exact opposite of what every cell in your body is screaming at you to do. Relax, lean into it, and then let go.
And that little finger trap, that brings us to our first huge idea here. All that frantic effort, that desperate chase, that isn't the path to freedom. We think we're fighting for something, but in reality, the struggle itself, that's the cage we're building around the very thing we desire.
So let's be super clear about something. Detachment does not mean you don't care. It's not apathy. It's really about understanding a fundamental law of, well, physics. The more needy, tense energy you apply to a situation, the more resistance you create. It's like life just grips you tighter. But the moment you relax, the moment you loosen your grip, you create the space for things to actually flow to you. That's when you're truly free.
This quote just nails it. Neediness is an energy. It's a vibe. It's a signal you are broadcasting out into the world. And what is that signal saying? It's broadcasting lack, it's broadcasting fear, it's broadcasting incompletion. And that signal acts like a repellent. It actively pushes away the very things you want. See, the universe doesn't give you what you beg for. It simply mirrors back the energy you're putting out. Okay, so if chasing and needing and gripping are all forms of repulsion, then what's the alternative? Well, it's about making a complete shift in your energy. You have to go from pushing things away to drawing them in. It's about becoming a magnet. Think of yourself like a walking radio tower. You are constantly 24/7 broadcasting a signal, and that signal is made up of your internal state, your thoughts, your feelings, your core beliefs. And here's the kicker. You don't attract your wish list. You attract a reality that is a perfect match for your broadcast. So this whole game isn't about doing more. It's about transmitting a cleaner, more powerful signal. So what messes up that signal? What's all the static and noise? Well, it's all of this stuff. These are the classic energy leaks. The anxiety about what might happen, the endless overthinking, obsessing over the outcome, that constant feeling that you have to prove yourself. All of these things are just broadcasting a signal of I don't have it, and that just keeps it from ever showing up. And this right here, this might be the most important part of this entire explainer. So many of us are trying to get something so that we can change who we are. If I get the job, then I'll be confident. But the law works in reverse. You have to be the person who already has it. You have to embody that energy, that confidence, that wholeness first. The attraction is just a byproduct of your identity. Now, when you start to get this, when you master this shift, something absolutely incredible happens. You start to unlock a state of peak performance where all the effort just feels effortless. This is the power of the flow state, and detachment is the key that opens that door. So what's the recipe for flow? It's really a process of subtraction, not addition. It's about letting things go. First, you remove the outcome. You release your attachment to whatever the final result is. Second, you remove the audience. You stop performing for other people and worrying about what they'll think. And finally, the big one, you remove the ego, that little nagging voice in your head that's always analyzing and judging everything you do. And anyone who's ever really been in a deep state of flow knows this feeling deep in their bones. Time just seems to dissolve. Self-consciousness completely vanishes. You're so immersed in what you're doing that the line between you and the work just disappears. The ideas just come. The right moves just happen. You're not forcing it anymore. You've become a channel for it. Detachment also builds a completely different kind of confidence. It's not the loud, fragile kind that we see all the time. No, this is something much deeper, much quieter, and it is absolutely unshakable. Just look at this comparison. Most people operate with what we can call circumstantial confidence. It's built on external stuff, on wins, on praise, on status. And because of that, it's incredibly fragile. The second things go wrong, it shatters. But unshakable confidence, that stuff is forged internally. It's built not just by winning, but by surviving your losses. It's the deep knowing that you can get rejected, you can fail, and you will still be okay. That is true resilience. And here it is. This is the ultimate test. Real confidence is having walk-away power. It's the ability to look at a deal, an opportunity, even a relationship that just doesn't feel right, and have the strength to walk away without fear. Why? Because your value is not tied up in any single outcome. And you can almost always spot someone with this kind of confidence. They're not loud or boastful, they're usually quiet and calm. They listen way more than they talk. They don't waste energy defending or over-explaining themselves because they have nothing to prove. They move with this calm, deliberate precision because they aren't driven by noise and the need for approval. It's a powerful kind of stillness. So all of this, the detachment, the flow, the confidence, it all builds to one final, ultimate expression. And it's a word that most of us associate with defeat, but in this context, it is the most powerful move you can possibly make. That move is surrender. Now, we have to reframe this. Surrender is not quitting. It is quitting the fight against reality. It's releasing that exhausting, draining need to control every single variable. It's an active choice to trust a process that's bigger than your own ego and just let life co-create with you. And this simple metaphor just says it all, doesn't it? When you're clenching, when you're gripping, when you're trying to control everything, your fists are closed, and you can't receive anything with a closed fist. Not a new opportunity, not a new insight, not a new blessing. Surrender is simply the act of opening your hands. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but let's get real. How do we actually put this into practice? How do you take that very first step away from gripping and towards letting go? All right, here are 3 concrete actions you can take right now. First, name your obsession. Get really honest with yourself. What is the one outcome you are just gripping with all your might? Write it down. Second, do the work, ignore the score. Show up fully, give it everything you've got in the process, but then consciously, intentionally release your attachment to the result. And third, speak the truth. Say it out loud, affirm to yourself, to the universe, that you will be okay even if you don't get this one thing. So we end with this question. That job, that relationship, that peace of mind, that creative breakthrough, everything you want is right there. It's waiting for you. But it's on the other side of your white-knuckled grip. And the only question left is, are you ready to finally let go?